The review about the controller is basically designed to see which best controller is the ultimate controller for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. Some of them being wired, some of them being wireless, some of them being USB wired, some of them having rumble, some of them not having rumble. You've got Hori, you've got PowerA, you've got the official Gamecube, you've got the official Switch Pro controller, you've got HeatleyBros adapter, you've got the Gamecube official adapter released by Nintendo. You've got PDP Switch wired Fight Pad Pro. What's going on there, guys? It's Mac. Hope you guys are well. Today we're doing a video about all the variety of Gamecube controllers that are available for the Nintendo Switch. Some of these include third-party controllers that obviously have come a long way compared to the old days. You got brands like Hori, PDP and PowerA in here, as well as Nintendo official Gamecube controllers that will be released for the Nintendo Switch, as well as original Gamecube controllers that are just the old ones that we're going to be using for the Nintendo Switch. They all have their own unique perks, and it's a variety of I'm always trying to get the best controller for the Nintendo Switch to play Ultimate Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch. Now, I've been searching for this for a long time, and I can tell you not one controller tends to have the ultimate package. I wanted to get a wireless option, I wanted to get a wireless solution, I wanted to get a solution that has a bigger D-pad, I wanted to get a solution that has rumble, I wanted to get a solution that also has the dual analog sticks and dual triggers, as well as the triggers being at a normal button press level. So let me get into a bit more detail about this. For example, over here we have all of the, this is the Hori range that's been released for the Nintendo Switch. They come in the USB wired form, and the USB wired form is obviously a lot cheaper. They come to about £20 each, but they also released a wireless version, which was to me like the ultimate version of it, because it has a rechargeable battery built in and it has a Type-C connection. So this is the actual wireless solution for the Hori one, and if you look at it, the layout is very similar and pretty much the same. Now these controllers here is like the Zelda and the Peach one. Again, I love the fact that they have a variety of colors and basically character designs that these come with. It's something that I always look for, and these definitely have it in spades. Now if you have the USB controller version, you can just get a USB adapter, plug it into the Nintendo Switch via the USB A to USB-C adapter, and you can play it on the go with these controllers, or you can just plug them into the dock and then you can play it that way on the Nintendo Switch when it's connected to the TV. In general, these are beautiful controllers. The C and the actual sticks, they click in, so they're modern controllers for the Gamecube. They have the plus minus button, the home capture button, and also it looks like they have like a turbo button as well, which you can set. They have a really cool feature because these controllers actually have the ZL and the ZR in the wrong places. They got the back L and R as the first ones, and then the ZL and ZR as the front ones, front shoulder pads. Obviously that's just taking back to the original Gamecube controller where they had the one Z button and it was always at the front, and then the L and R was at the back. They didn't provide an option for you to actually fix this. You basically hold both trigger buttons and then you insert the cable in, and then it changes the mode. It says over here the toggle shoulder button option. So they have the larger D-pad, the toggle of the shoulder buttons, and also anti-snapback sticks and turbo settings. So you have all of that over here. The actual joystick itself has the grooves, so you can actually feel the different areas that you connect into. Whereas the Switch Pro pad, as you can see, is just fully round. Just a traditional Pro pad that you would normally play Nintendo Switch with. Obviously, the different solutions that are available here can be really awesome, and it gives you the sort of like the more comfortable feeling of playing Super Smash Bros. Because of, you know, how much you use the A button, and everything else becomes like, you know, your jump buttons and stuff like that, and your action buttons. So it sort of becomes very comfortable, and you know, a lot of people use this still because it's just a familiar controller, but it's also a really good controller for the game itself, and a lot of GameCube games in themselves. Now obviously these don't work on the official GameCube, they only work on the actual Nintendo Switch because of the USB, and I believe they work on the PC as well. But yeah, you just basically hold on the trigger and you plug in the controller, and then the light will come on and it will stay on, and it will basically reprogram the ZL and the ZR to become the back shoulder buttons, and then the front ones become the L and the R buttons, which is a really good feature. So it allows you to actually change that at a software level on the controller, and then when you disconnect it, whenever you plug it in, the light will come on. It'll be a red color, and it will show that the L's and the R's are the correct way now, as it should be on the Switch Pro controller, which is the L and R being at the front, and the ZR and the ZL being at the back. You can tell when it hasn't been activated because the actual LED light won't be turned on, so it's good to know that when the LED light is on red, you know that the front shoulder buttons and the back shoulder buttons are in the correct format as the Nintendo Switch should be, so you can actually play modern games as well with the same shoulder buttons because it won't be reverted. Now the controller layout as well, you can sort of play Switch Pro games, but it's a bit tricky. I would have liked to have the actual C-stick to be a normal C-stick. This is where the actual PDP shines. The PDP controller has phenomenal shoulder buttons. You can see, like, again, they are just basically, they just go down, and very similar to these, but it's a bit more larger in space, so it means that you definitely will be hitting it. So as you can see, they got the wider lengths on the shoulders, and the ZL and ZR in the right place by default, and actually it's written there as well. And they have the option to swap out the C-stick. So you can see here, they have the option to swap out the C-stick to the actual a normal full-sized joystick, which is really cool. It's one of the main features why I managed to why I picked this up, and obviously it's a really cool style as well because you've got different colors. You've got Zelda ones as well, you've got Mario ones, but this one's really cool. It's a Pokemon themed one, obviously Pikachu, and it's got a black color at the back and a really cool badge and yellow at the front. The only downside to this is what I've realized is that the actual joystick itself does come out, and when you're playing an intense game, that's basically the last thing you want. I believe it comes out on this one, maybe this one as well, but they essentially are designed to basically click in and click out. And the downside is that, yeah, you can swap out the actual joystick. I think it's only on this one. You can swap out the joystick for the normal sized one and not the little C nubbin that they have here in the packet. You can sort of see. But when you're playing competitively, or when you're playing an intense game, it tends to just drop off, and you're like, oh my god, you gotta pause the game and everything. So really annoying. That's the only downside about this, but I really wish that they did this larger joystick from the beginning on all these pads, and unfortunately the D-pad on here is a bit smaller. So this is the common theme that you're going to find. You're going to have some features that are there, and then other features are going to be going backwards. Obviously it makes sense to have a larger D-pad, and they've actually gone with the original D-pad, which is what you get on the WaveBird, for example, like this, which is really tiny, so it's the same size. So yeah, so you get the nice joysticks on the PDP. I think it's called the Wired Fight Pad Pro. Again, a really nice controller, but unfortunately the sticks do click off. You need to then find it and re-click it back in, so it's a bit annoying. But other than that, it's got all of the home buttons and the capture buttons that you need. And it is a wired controller as well, so it's not wireless, it comes wired, and quite a cool design. Small D-pad, the right joysticks though, but they do click off. Original GameCube controller you can use. The downside to this original GameCube controller is the fact that the D-pad is small again. You have one Z button and it's on the right hand side only and not on the left hand side, and you got two shoulder buttons that are very deep So because they're analog triggers, it takes a long time for you to press it. Whereas on these ones, you can just press it and it's a button. So this is more like the Switch Pro controller, which is just a digital button, which is what you want. It's less travel time. It means that you will make the action on the screen happen a lot sooner by pressing the digital button rather than this one where you have to travel a lot longer. So that's the downside to these, but you can always use these using the Nintendo Switch official 4-player, what is it? Nintendo Gamecube controller adapter. So it's a 4-player controller adapter, and as you can see, it works on the Wii U, it works on the Switch, and it just connects via the 2 USB ports that you have on there, and it goes into the side of the Switch dock, and then you could just plug it into your Switch. You can also plug that into a Type-C adapter and make it work on the Switch when you're playing in portable mode. You just get like a USB-C to USB-A hub, and then you just plug in the hub, and you can just plug in both of the USB into there, and you can make this work while you're playing portable. But anyway, to allow up to 4 controllers to work on the Nintendo Switch using the original Gamecube controllers. You can use the original Gamecube controllers, the old school ones that you have. This is like a classic old one that I have. These ones don't obviously click in, the analog sticks don't click in because they're the original ones, and then they had that feature. Whereas if you go on to the ones that were released specifically for this, so you have the newer version here, which was the one that released with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As you can see, the logo sounds a bit different, and then this one was released with the Smash Bros. Wii U version of the game. It's called Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, and as you can see, the actual logo is a bit different here, so the icon is a bit more cooler, I think, and this one's a bit more straight, simple. This one's the one with the fire icon. These two controllers are very similar in design, other than those logos, because they follow the exact same GameCube style, and the cable's a lot long as well. So these are, I think, they have a very long cord, so you can reach from the TV to your sofa very comfortably, whereas original GameCube controllers have a very short cable. So a good benefit as well, because everyone plays quite far away from the TV now due to wireless controllers. So these two are really cool. They're pretty much the same, these two. You can also do this. GameCube 8-Bit Do released a HeatleyBros adapter. So this one allows you to plug in your GameCube official controller with the cable, and then you can just use it wirelessly. You sync this to your Switch, and then it basically works wirelessly. The downside is that you need to have batteries in this, AA batteries. So there's a compartment in here, and you have to plug in batteries. Other than that, it's really cool. You can use this to plug in those GameCube controllers. And if you have it's called the Wii Classic controllers, you can get the Classic Controller Pros. They have the Wii connector, and you just plug it into there, and then you can basically plug it into there, and you'll be good to go. Also, you can use this to plug in your classic SNES Classic or your NES Classic controllers into here, and you can play them on the Switch. Obviously, you'll have limited buttons, but the D-pad is really cool. But yeah, this is a really cool adapter for quite a few features like that. So obviously the downside to these is that they're wired, they have the big analog triggers. So let's go wireless. Here we have a wireless option. This is the WaveBird. The downside to this is that they're really expensive to buy. They're obviously, you're gonna scalp them, you're gonna find them on eBay because they don't sell them brand new no more. And they're always in good condition or bad condition, and they cost a lot. And they have a AA battery socket at the back, which is really huge compared to some of the newer solutions. So the triggers as well are really deep. You have the one Z button, and you have the small D-pad. So it's not the best solution, but essentially you use this and you can plug it into the dock, the GameCube adapter, and it will work. You can't plug it into the HeatleyBros 8-Bit Do HeatleyBros adapter, it won't work. Basically it's designed to not connect fully because of the design, and it's for a reason, because I think it doesn't have enough battery power to charge this, and it will have issues. So that's why, don't force it guys, it won't work on that. But that's the WaveBird controller, and this is a PowerA controller. This GameCube controller came with a few varieties. This one is the very first one that came out, so they released this in black and purple. They have a expensive solution where it's basically wireless, and I think it has a few additional features. This one here Again, unfortunately, none of these have rumble. None of these have rumble. Any wireless solution does not have rumble, even this one. So these controllers here, or the wired ones as well, the Hori ones, they just don't have rumble. And yeah, so all three of these are PowerA. Unfortunately, even the only way to get rumble is by using a classic Gamecube controller, using the Gamecube adapter, or by using an 8-bit HeatleyBros wireless adapter, which basically solves one solution. It makes it wireless. It makes the controller wireless, but you still have to carry this cord around you, so I just wrap it up and leave it dangling like that. But it will be wireless and it will have rumble, so it's the one of the ways where you can get a Gamecube controller wireless. But I'm surprised that they haven't released a wireless rumble option. I understand there's a Kickstarter at the moment for a really expensive Gamecube controller which will have rumble, but again, the way it works is whether it's going to be wireless or not, whether it needs to be wired for original Gamecube or Switch is still yet to be seen, because there's a few things I need to double check. But I think it works with rumble wirelessly for the Switch, but not for the original Gamecube where it needs to have a wired connection. Yeah, again, it's not fully rumble and fully wireless, unfortunately. So where does that leave us? Here is the best one. Okay, so back to the PowerA one. One of the downsides to this one, because obviously the buttons are really good, the triggers are very different. It's a lot more raised compared to like the Hori ones. It's not as flat, and the triggers are a lot more like the original Gamecube controllers. The long travel times. They've actually released a version of this. So if you pick up the Pikachu one and I think one of the Pokemon ones, they actually stop. So when you press down on the trigger, it actually goes down halfway and it basically does a full click. Is the fact that it has a long travel distance to go through. They fixed that and it's on the newer versions, but the older versions you can travel all the way down and then it makes the actual action on the screen. So again, that's a downside, but the newer versions have fixed that. One of the biggest downsides is the fact that it has a battery compartment and it needs AA batteries. It should have been charged, to be honest. So I prefer to have the flat triggers, no batteries. I want it to be charged, but you can sync this and it is a wireless controller and it works really well. But yeah, this one again has a bigger D-pad as well. It's really good. It comes really close to being the best controller, but unfortunately the big travel distance on these triggers and the fact that it has a battery makes it overall a slightly poorer choice. But everything else, like the triggers and the shoulder buttons, are really good. So the best solution for that is this one, the Hori one. This Hori pad is a Mario designed one, and I think they come in Zelda as well, a Zelda designed one. But this specific one is really cool. So I wanted to get a Mario colored one, so it has a nice two-tone to show Mario colors. Obviously the dark blue at the back and the see-through red. So that's what's really cool, is see-through. It has a bit more weight compared to these ones, compared to the other Hori ones, the wide ones. This one has a bit more weight. And what they've done with this one is that this is a bit more expensive compared to the wireless, compared to the wide ones, because it is wireless. The compartment for the battery, where it would normally be quite huge on the WaveBird and quite small on the PowerA one, there is no compartment. It's just basically a rechargeable battery built in. So you've got a Type-C rechargeable connector, which is really cool. You've got minus, plus, screen capture, home button, and you've also got another button which actually fixes things like, you've got the turbo button, but you've also got another one where you can assign a different button to the back buttons. So you've actually got two back buttons as well, which is something that's new compared to all of these other Gamecube controllers. So that's really cool. You can basically reassign any of these buttons, front facing buttons, to that or the triggers using that additional button over here. It works wireless, it has a large D-pad. Unfortunately the C-stick is still a small C-stick, but overall it has the divots and everything. Probably one of the best Gamecube controllers, I have to say. They've actually also fixed the triggers, so compared to this one where you have to basically set it so that the triggers will then go to the back, you can see in this one they've actually put the correct spelling as well, so there is no need for you to change it. There is no need there is a changing option. It's basically L and R and ZL and ZR, whereas this one would have been L and R at the back and ZL and ZR at the front, which you will then need to hold the triggers and connect it via USB to swap it around. So they fixed that, which I like, because OCD wise I wanted the spelling on the controller to reflect how the Switch Pro layout is, which is obviously triggers at the back being the Z's and L and R being at the front. So this one fixes that, it addresses that. It doesn't have rumble, that's the only thing it doesn't have. So if you want to get rumble, you need to get these and use the official Gamecube adapter or a HeatleyBros 8-bit DO adapter to get the rumble wirelessly or wired version. And otherwise you can use this, and it's probably the best solution other than the the Gamecube or the Switch Pro controller, which obviously has HD rumble. I think that's about covers it, because yeah, so if you look at overall, these are quite wide as well, so they have quite a nice larger grip. I think the original Gamecube controller can be slightly smaller. If you look at the PowerA controller, wireless one, is actually a lot smaller in comparison. It's a lot smaller, and I think, yeah, it just feels it's slightly smaller if you look overall. But I would say this size is perfect, and obviously wireless being the best solution. This one had a lot going for it, but again, it was wired. The triggers unfortunately click off when you're playing in an intense game. The D-pad is smaller. The review about the controller is basically designed to see which best controller is the ultimate controller for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. Some of them being wired, some of them being wireless, some of them being USB wired, some of them having rumble, some of them not having rumble. You've got Hori, you've got PowerA, you've got the official Gamecube, you've got the official Switch Pro controller, you've got a HeatleyBros adapter, you've got the Gamecube official adapter released by Nintendo. You've got PDP Switch wired Fight Pad Pro. Overall, this is my favorite one. It wins. It's a bit more expensive than the wired ones, but you get wireless. It has a rechargeable battery, Type-C connector, the most modern of them all. It just needs rumble. Please add rumble, guys, on the next one. That's all I need. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Really appreciate all the subscribers, so thank you very much for that. But this is my choice. This is the winner, I would say, for now, until they release something better. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, take care, guys. This is Mac. Peace out.